we should be live here. There we go. Perfect. Copy and paste. All right. So, yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear, and then we'll go ahead and start. Let me just move this to live chat. What the fuck's going on here? Okay. All right. Yeah, you guys can hear me? Everyone good? Can you hear me? Loud? Good, good, good. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly talk, let's talk about the market, right? So we're pretty much starting to see the Sunday Asia hour nuke that's happening. And it's not ideal, right? A lot of people right now are in this panic state, pretty much what's going on in the market, why are we nuking, and what's going in terms of bounce opportunities. But I wanted to quickly point a few things out. Now, number one, I messaged this in whale chat as well, and I also mentioned it earlier, like an hour ago to you guys, but pretty much what happened here is this is simply just a BART formation, a M formation, and a structure break trade. So there's a lot of things that you have to be very careful of. And what I mean by that is you can see that right here, Bitcoin was trading in a range. We, of course, don't have that volume in terms of the weekend, right? We are on weekend volume. We don't have that weekly volume in the market yet. And what we saw here was that we already tested 94.2 twice. This was a third test break. Along with that, we have the exponential moving averages being used as resistance. And then you can see as soon as we lost that 93.4 region, that's pretty much where the capitulation happened. Now, I talked about this earlier as well. It was the fact that if you look here in terms of the daily time frame, there's a few things that we kind of knew that were going to happen, right? Number one, of course, was the fact that the exponential moving averages weren't tested yet. We were in extreme overbought levels, but we didn't quite test those EMAs in terms of support. Now, I've taught you guys this many times, but I'll quickly do a little recap. In order for us to have a bull confirmation, any sort of trade, anything, there's three things that need to happen. Number one, we have to break above the exponential moving averages. Okay, so you can see right here on Bitcoin at 90.8, we broke above. Number two, we have to hold them as support. So now we're currently in the second stage. We have to hold these as support. Number three, a break above the previous high. So the previous high here was around 97.9. A break above that level would be a strong bull confirmation into the 100K region. That's why I told you guys earlier today is the fact that if of course we hold above the EMAs, I'm looking for 100K Bitcoin this week. And the reason for that is you can see from previous price analysis, there's really nothing stopping Bitcoin once we break above these wick highs. We of course did take the long opportunities into 97, right? For those of you that were in Telegram, we did take the longs into 97, but what we need to see now is the same level being held as support. If we can get that support retest, then we have the strong confirmation. And again, how do we know it's going to be at 100K? Well, to put it in simple words, it's a top of the move set. What do I mean by top of the move set? It's pretty much where the move set started. And you'll notice that right here in this cluster, this is pretty much where the nuke started. This is where the move set started. This is where a lot of wick opportunities were. So that is the level that's going to be at play. That is the level that we are looking to take our profits. Of course, now from a hopium standpoint, right? Again, this is hopium, but let's say if we're looking at top of the move set, if of course we are consolidating here, then yeah, top of the move set could be around the 108 to 110K region. But again, I don't really trade like that, right? If you are looking to, kind of zoom out like that. But personally, I just play the overall move set, because a lot of times what happens is traders will look at that and be like, okay, well, top of move set is 116K, so I'm going to swing. The issue with that mindset is a lot of times what happens is we do hit the 102 region top of move set, and then we drop further down. So you don't necessarily want to be that trader that ends up holding that trade on the way towards the downside. Now, I'm going to talk about Doge real quick, and I want to talk about Solana and Ethereum because altcoins got absolutely decimated on that trade, right? A lot of people were kind of, obviously, I hope a lot of you were not in terms of long positions because there really wasn't a reason to be. But in terms of Ethereum, this again, like if I wish there was a way. Oh, wait, there is a way. Can I do this? Hold on one second, guys. Aha, look at this. Okay, it's cool. So I can do that. So in terms of Ethereum, now this is just an educational standpoint, okay? I just want everyone to follow along here. Look at Ethereum in terms of the 4-hour time frame right here at 32.84, right? So do you see this gap right here? This massive gap here, this massive gap here. Ideally, that gap is what you want to be very, very cautious about. In terms of the exponential moving averages, if they are not tested, you want to be very, very careful, because that usually tells you that you are pretty much looking for that drop in terms of support, right? So that's what I'm talking about. How I knew that we were looking for that EMA retest were these exponential moving averages. When you have that kind of gap, you usually watch a wick opportunity towards the downside, and that's exactly what happened. We saw that wick towards the downside. If we go ahead and get out of this, you can see right there. You see how the exponential moving averages played out? And the same thing, the gap got filled on the EMAs though, right? So you have to be very cautious there. Yeah, so I can talk about XRP, I can talk about Solana, I can talk about a lot of things. Just give me a second here. There we go. So in terms of, let's talk about, let me touch based on Solana first, right? Because a lot of people are waiting for Solana's update. Now, I talked about this earlier in Whales Chat, but I'll talk about this real quick for Solana. We were pretty much on an uptrend, right? We were using the EMAs as support, but we're still in an overall range, guys. So don't get it confused. A lot of people say, oh my God, look, Solana's booming, XRP, whatever, all the altcoins are going crazy. The problem is we're still in a range opportunity. We're still in this range at around 146.90. So we have to actually break the range. Now, in terms of wicks though, you can see from previous price analysis, the 134 region, every time we broke that support, we wicked down to 129 every single time. And the same thing, look at where the level market opportunity was right here. It was the same thing, 129.89. So me as a trader, if I'm looking at it from this perspective, let's assume I wanted to short, right? I'm not looking at this current price action. There's no point. Instead, I'm actually looking at this price action and assuming, okay, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 wicks, right? So there's about 13 wicks right here. And in my head, I can assume that if I'm looking for a short opportunity, that's my take profit. It's going to be exactly on that wick. A lot of times it doesn't go perfect, right? You'll see that the market comes close to that wick and then bounce. And that's what I'm saying in terms of greed. You want to be very careful with how greedy you are in this market, mostly on a weekend. Weekend trading is not meant for swing positions or holding positions. Weekend trading, simply put, is for market opportunities for scalping positions. Now, we can talk about XRP. Yeah. I mean, I don't like talking about XRP, but let's just talk about XRP because there's a lot of things that are that I see are a problem right now in terms of XRP, right? So you can see that right now we're holding a major support. And yeah, like Robert said, this doesn't look great. From any time frame, I've been keeping a very close eye on XRP. This looks disgusting, right? Because now on a daily time frame, and this is where we have to be very careful, is on a daily, you're playing a daily BART formation. This is a daily BART formation, right? We saw a massive leg opportunity on XRP, trapping a lot of bulls all the way down from pretty much here around the 61-cent region, all the way into the highs of $3.31. And now we've pretty much just been ranging over and over. Of course, it's going to follow Bitcoin though, but let's assume that if Bitcoin does do a fake out, then yes, XRP, the wicks are going to get very ugly. We are going to see the same thing like this liquidation wick that happened here on October 10th. I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing more wick opportunities like that towards the downside, because again, you're on a daily wick level for XRP. Now, I wanted to talk about Doge. I'm not going to touch too much in terms of this just because I'm going to upload an actual video about it. But you can see that as of right now, in terms of Dogecoin, we are pretty much in a capitulation stage, right? As soon as we broke the 0.136 support level, just from an education standpoint, guys, once again, this is, for me, I mean, again, I've been doing this for a very long time, but I can see this and say, okay, if I were to just look at it from a short perspective, so I'll just do a replay right here. No. Wait, I think I messed up. I did mess up. Give me a second, guys. I want to show you a quick little replay here on pretty much what I see from a naked chart. So if, of course, you start seeing this by yourself on your own, then you can say, okay, yeah, this is a good shorting opportunity. So in terms of Doge, this was very easy to spot, but I will quickly show you. So right there. Okay, so if I'm a trader and I'm looking at it from a 0.136 support level, so if we're just looking at it from this perspective right here, you can see that we kept testing the same support. 0.136 is the level that you want to pay attention to, right? So this was the level in terms of consolidation. This was the level in terms of a breakout. We broke out above that level. We saw a squeeze. We broke down below that level. And now we are using the EMAs as support. So now look at this perspective. When the EMAs are being used as resistance while you're testing a major support, it basically ends up being like this, right? So you are just testing this range over and over and over. It ends up getting tighter and tighter. And that is when you see the nuke opportunity. But cool, everyone understands that. But where exactly does the nuke end? And this is what's very important. If you look on Doge right here at 0.129, you'll notice that this was a manipulation candle. We pretty much broke above this resistance, saw a massive leg towards the upside, but on the way towards the downside, what happens? When you have a leg opportunity like this, in terms of a gap, when you have such a big gap like this, 9 out of 10 times when that support level is broken, just like the way on the upside, it's exactly the same way on the downside. So if you look here, you can see that Doge today completed that downside move set. Exact same move, right? 0.136, exact same candle in terms of green was the exact same candle in terms of red. Does everyone understand? Does that make sense? We were on the same BART formation, same support level, but just like we went up on this candle in terms of the gap, is the same way we come down, same gap opportunity. In terms of liquidations though, so right here, a lot of traders, in terms of liquidations, they had a lot of stop losses as when they were long, right? So everyone went long here, and guess what happened? A lot of this wick right here, this candle was the liquidation candle. This candle was hunting these traders. So that's why I pretty much only trade the 4-hour time frame, and I personally like scalping. I'm not a personal favor of swing trading, right? So now I'll explain why. Let's assume you're a swing trader and you entered a 0.129 for a long and you wanted to hold it to all-time high. The problem is that you enter here, pretty much this whole move set, you missed out on all these opportunities, and now you got stopped out. If not, you got liquidated on the way. And now from basically what, January 26th, or no, sorry, what is this, 4-hour time frame? Yeah. So no, sorry, January. I'm done. January 2nd till now the 18th. 16 days of sideways action, and you still got stopped out. So that's why I tell people, like me personally, I like the 4-hour interval. There's absolutely no reason why, we're swinging at current levels. There's going to be a time when we swing, but right now the market's just not giving us that opportunity. If we look at Bitcoin in the large scale, we're still in a range. We're still consolidating sideways. This is not bullish by any means from a swing level. This is simply just sideways price action. We actually need to break above that level, again, from 97.7 for us to classify it as a continuation trade. Sorry, I had a moment. But yeah, so that's the level you want to pretty much pay attention to, is going to be 97.7. For those of you that are swinging or whatever you guys want to do, that's the level structure you want to pay attention to. So go ahead and make note of that. But again, in terms of the current 4-hour time frame, I wouldn't be surprised for Asia hours if we did complete the move set down into the 90K region in terms of a fake out. But if we look here at the daily time frame, where as of right now, again, I don't want to jinx it, but as of right now, we are holding above the exponential moving averages. So all you really need to do tonight, guys, make it very simple. Very, very simple. You just don't trade. And I'm being honest. If you missed that short on Ethereum, Bitcoin, Doge, Solana, everything that nuked right now when I said, look, the EMAs are looking like they're going to gap down. If you missed that trade, now is not the time for you to start looking for shorting opportunities. That doesn't make any sense. You don't short into on the EMAs. You short into the EMAs, if that makes sense. So when there's a gap on the EMAs, you're shorting into them. Once it hits, though, you're sitting on your hands and you're waiting. Because number one, what's the market telling us right now? In terms of the daily time frame, the 9 and the 20, right? We're in between that level, which means it's an indecisive spot. Either we break below tomorrow for New York Open and we retest as resistance, cool, then we're short. Or best case scenario, somehow for Asia hours, we actually close above, market open, we see a new leg opportunity, and that's the continuation we want to see. Last week, we had a bunch of noise with Iran. We had a possibility of war and blah, 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 blah. Again, it's all noise, but the current 4-hour time frame, as of right now, for altcoins, including Ethereum, including Solana, including Doge, a lot of these altcoins right now are struggling to hold their exponential moving averages. So my best case scenario for you guys, again, is to simply sit on your hands, let Bitcoin figure things out. And of course, if we do get a fake out, then we are looking for long positions above the EMAs. When is that time? It's going to be right here in terms of wick high. That is the next trade. If it doesn't happen, you're not going to hear from me this week. And I'm being honest. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to say, okay, guys, we're going to long down here, trying to catch a move set up here. It makes absolutely no sense. Versus, hey guys, we're going to long up here and we're going to try to get the move set up into the 100K region. It's just very simple to do versus you doing it yourself at the bottom here, trying to guess. Because again, 9 out of 10 times, if you end up longing here, you could get liquidated, obviously, if we end up losing support. So that's just something you don't necessarily want to do. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not looking at a lot of coins, to be honest. I get so many messages today, look at this coin, look at that coin. I'm being honest, it's overwhelming for me. And again, it really messes up my trades. That's why I stick to, like I said, the main trades, and then we kind of just go from there. If I'm like, hey, I'm bullish on Bitcoin, then that probably means I'm good. You're good for your altcoins as well, right? Like that's pretty much how it works here. Is if I'm saying, okay, yeah, Ethereum and altcoins are looking good, then you can do whatever you want. But if I'm saying, hey, things are looking bearish right now, it's probably a good idea to just wait, just give it a bit, and then go from there. But yeah, gold is going crazy right now. It actually is. Anyways, yeah, so that's pretty much all. I just wanted to give you guys a little perspective here in terms of Sunday. Now, I know Zcash had a nuke too, but Zcash is one of those coins that actually is holding quite well relatively. So, the thing about Zcash, I know a lot of people do like shorting it, and I do like longing it just to play it, but it's a very volatile asset. So I always tell people, like, you're better off looking for breakouts on Zcash, and the same thing from a support structure, looking for breakdown. So you can see on Zcash, 362 broke, we nuked down to 333. And the same way on the upside, right? If somehow Zcash breaks above this level right here, 448, I actually will probably call it a long position, if I'm being honest with you guys, because let me just quickly give you guys a perspective here. So this is pretty much how I trade. So right now on Sunday, if I'm sitting here just bored on my computer, I'll just look at charts. This is what I'll do. So number one, I'll draw resistance here because, again, I can see that there's a bunch of wicks that tested. Now you'll notice all of these wicks right here. I'll draw a secondary resistance right here. And this would be my assumption that if somehow we break above on Zcash, this is how it would work in terms of a trade, right? So again, this is a naked chart. Just randomly did it for you guys. 1, 2... Now, assuming Zcash can somehow break back above, this would become a third test. Now, this is where things get tricky. Although we would long on the third test at 448.71, there's still a resistance here at 459. So what I would do is I'd simply look for a long position from 448 to 459. Once that 459 level hits, I'm out of that trade. Best case scenario, if of course it breaks out, then we are looking for clear skies on Zcash all the way up here into 486. So that's when I send a trade. I'm like, hey guys, long Zcash 448 into 459. 459 breaks, we long to 485. That's it. It's so simple, right? Because all of this garbage that's happening right now, I'm not trading it. A lot of people can get liquidated, stopped out, trying to guess the bottom. I'm not going to be that person. Instead, I just wait for the market to actually come back up, and then we can start trading. But yes, right now, Zcash would still be considered a consolidation zone. So if, again, the market does a fake out for New York tomorrow, then Zcash is on the board as well for a possible trade. So there's a few trades that are possible in terms of this week. Again, this all depends on Bitcoin structure. Number one is Bitcoin, of course. Number two, Ethereum in terms of a swing high position right here at 344. The break of that and we long. In terms of Solana, it's 148. And then, of course, Zcash. Dogecoin, it's not a structure. There's nothing going on with it right now. It's actually looking very bleak, but I will update that video later tonight for you guys so everyone can be on the same page. Yeah, cool. All right, that's it. That's all I got. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I know this is really random. I don't think this is probably the second Sunday stream we've ever done, but I just wanted to make sure everyone is on the same page because a lot of people do tend to panic on Sundays, but I just want to make sure that, you're not really panicking and, you kind of just understand it. But yeah. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm probably going to upload Doge and not going to update the charts because, again, it's still the weekend. So I will update them earlier whenever I wake up around 8:30 in the morning before market open. Sometimes I sleep in and then I miss the market open. But again, most of our trades don't happen until 10:30, 11 a.m. Eastern. So we should be good for that. And yeah, I'll let you guys do your thing. Again, don't look for long positions right now, guys. If you guys are looking to bottom catch something, just be very careful. We're still trading below the EMAs on altcoins, and Bitcoin, again, is still below the EMAs again. On the daily, we're above, but on the 4 hour, things can still get ugly. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Peace out.